Live from Michigan Avenue, this is Good Day Chicago.
Good Tuesday morning and welcome to Good Day Chicago. I'm Gabriela Primus.
I'm Brian Jackson. Here's a look at some of the stories we're following this morning. 2 people are in the hospital after a stabbing on the CTA platform.
Former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro enters his plea in federal court. What he had to say to the judge.
And taking a live look outside this morning, Mike says we're in for another day in the 40s. It felt pretty good getting out the door this morning.
My gosh, shorts and a t-shirt kind of weather yesterday, Mike.
That might be a little bit of a stretch.
Actually, it was warm.
It was warm. It felt warm out.
I came in, it was 37 on my thermometer. I had to stop and get a little bit of gas, and it was drizzling on me, so I had a few sprinkles out there. But yeah, it's going to be another day in the 40s. Mild weather. The January thaw continues. Yesterday, we peaked at 45. Might come up a degree or two shy of that today because it's going to be so cloudy out there, but it's still mild. Normal high this time of year is 32. Watch for that drizzle. Mainly north. There's not that much showing up on radar right now, but there are a few little patches of drizzle around. These are the current temperatures. 37 at Waukegan, 35 at Aurora, 39 at Morris, it's 39 at Midway. Northwest Indiana, a little bit warmer. 43 at Gary, 41 at Merrillville. All of us headed for more than likely the mid-40s later today. Gabby, Brian?
All right, thank you, Mike. Breaking overnight, Chicago police are investigating after 2 people were stabbed. It happened just before 11 last night along West 69th Street. Police say a 24-year-old man and 37-year-old woman were involved in an altercation with another person. Both the man and woman were found stabbed on a CTA platform. They were hospitalized in fair condition. No arrests have been made.
Also breaking this morning, firefighters rescued a person from a house fire along South State Street in the West Roseland neighborhood. The male victim was found while firefighters were putting out the fire. He was taken to the University of Chicago Hospital in serious condition. No other injuries have been reported.
Former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro is pleading not guilty to narco-terrorism charges. Maduro faced a federal judge in Manhattan yesterday. He told the judge he is innocent and is still the president of his country. The U.S. government alleges Maduro ran a decades-long criminal enterprise trafficking drugs into the United States. His wife also pleaded not guilty. Delcy Rodriguez, who served as former President Maduro's vice president since 2018, was sworn in as interim president of Venezuela yesterday. A high court ordered her to assume the role. President Trump says U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio had been in contact with Rodriguez, and she had pledged cooperation with the U.S. government.
On Capitol Hill, a bipartisan group of lawmakers was briefed on the military operation to capture Maduro. The administration reportedly did not give any key leaders on Capitol Hill any advance notice. Republican leaders entered the closed-door session largely supportive of the operation, but many Democrats emerged with more questions.
Their plan for the U.S. running Venezuela is vague, based on wishful thinking, and unsatisfying.
This is not a regime change. This is a demand for change of behavior by a regime.
A War Powers resolution that claims to prohibit U.S. military action in Venezuela without approval from Congress is now heading for a vote in the Senate this week.
Here locally, Chicago police are asking for help finding a missing woman. 53-year-old Linda Brown is a special education teacher at Robert Healy Elementary. She was last seen Saturday in the 4500 block of South Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. Police say she may be in need of medical attention. Police also say she may be driving a blue Honda Civic with Illinois plates CX57470. She could be in the area of the 2200 block of West North Avenue as well. Anyone with information is asked to call Area 1 detectives.
The Illinois Department of Public Health is reporting the first child flu death of this season. Last year, 12 children died from the virus across the state. Chicago's also seeing a surge in emergency room visits and hospitalizations due to the flu. The Department of Public Health says that visits are at their highest level since 2022. And across the country, 5,000 people have died due to the flu. The CDC says that there have been at least 1 million flu cases this year. And like every year, the flu is very unpredictable. Experts say that the biggest challenge this season is a new flu variant called the super flu.
This particular year, this variant, which is a subvariant of H3N2, it has several mutations in it that make it not a great match with the H3N2 strain that was included in the flu vaccine this year.
The flu this year is mostly the super flu, which was not in the vaccine. But doctors still say to get the shot if you're over 6 months old.
People's Gas customers could be paying more next year. In a move to increase rates starting next year, the company filed a request with the Illinois Commerce Commission. The rate hike is said to improve and replace old iron pipes from Chicago's heating system, along with other projects. The review could take up to 11 months, but if approved by state regulators, customers would see increases between $10 and $11 per month.
Time is now 4:35, and today, Orland Park's Planning Commission is expected to hold a meeting to discuss the proposed Amazon retail development. The 35-acre site is at the southwest corner of 159th Street and LaGrange Road. Amazon says that the store would offer a wide selection of products, including groceries. There could be some dining locations as well.
All right, the Bears will now look ahead to the playoff match against the Packers.
Much different conversation.
A meetup.
Yes, than we were having this time last year, Mike. We're in the playoffs.
Oh, boy. Look, something exciting to look forward to here. I know everybody's nervous. Here comes the Packers, right? All right, head coach Ben Johnson, obviously, neither were we. He was not happy with the team's performance against the Lions on Sunday. But with a short week leading up to Saturday's wild card game against the Packers, he spoke about what the message is going forward.
We'll make our corrections and then we'll quickly turn the page. We don't have time to sulk on what happened yesterday. And they understand that. We talked about that at the end of the game. And so I think we're gonna be good turning the page, but the things that need to get cleaned up, we're gonna clean up. We've earned a division title. We've earned the number 2 seed in the NFC. Those are things that we're certainly proud about. And at the same time, the season's not over. It's just starting for us, and our guys understand that. We can play better than what we played at the end of the season, and that's really our expectation here going forward.
All right, let's get 4 in a row here. You can watch the Packers and Bears right here on Fox Chicago. Saturday, game starts at 7 o'clock. This is the second half of an NFL doubleheader that will kick off with the Rams and Panthers. Our coverage begins with Bears Game Day Live, though. That's at 12:30, so stay with us on Fox Chicago because after the game, we've got full post-game coverage. Hopefully, we'll be smiling, where you can also hear from Ben Johnson and the players. This one broke my heart. Wild finish in the FCS championship between Illinois State, my alma mater, and Montana State. The Redbirds had a chance to take the lead late in the fourth quarter, but their field goal attempt was blocked. Boo. So we go to overtime. Illinois State gets the ball first, scores a touchdown, but then their PAT is blocked. Montana State scored a TD on their possession, and there's your game winner, an extra point that doesn't get blocked. The Redbirds lose to the Bobcats 35-34. Speaking of losing, the Bulls were in Boston last night taking on the Celtics. Modest Buzelis led the way for the Bulls. He finished with 26, but this was all Celtics. They led by double digits most of the game. The Bulls only scored 33 points in the first half. That is the fewest points by any team this entire season. Bulls go on to lose 115-101. All right, yesterday was a winner weather-wise. We had sunshine. Temperatures got up to 45 degrees. Today, you see a lot of cloud cover there, but you can see a couple little gaps in the cloudiness as well. I'm still going to call today cloudy, but you might get a thin spot for a peak of sunshine. Getting the kids ready for school today, a medium jacket is probably going to be adequate and make it waterproof. There might be a little bit of drizzle around, especially if your kids are going to school in the northern suburbs. Cloudy but mild at noon, 42 degrees. Still cloudy and mild at 3 with that temperature hanging there in the low to mid 40s. Some spots are there now. Look at Gary's 43 degrees, but down the road in Valparaiso, it's 36. We got 39 at Chicago's Lakefront, 35s in Sugar Grove and Woodstock. All of these temperatures already well above the normal high for this time of year. I keep looking at the visibility numbers here. Not too bad. I'm not seeing any sub 1 mile number. The Woodstock number is 1 mile and 8/10, and that's about the lowest visibility that we have anywhere in Chicagoland. There's been some drizzle. As I mentioned, I drove through some on my way into work. But right now, any of the real radar detectable precipitation is in Wisconsin or Michigan. Not much going on in Chicagoland, nor should there be today. Now, could there be a sprinkle at some point? Yes, our model shows a little bit coming through here, but the main flavor is going to be cloudy, mild. There you see, possibility once again far north of getting a brief shower. Tonight, skies I think are going to stay mostly cloudy, but tomorrow we clear out, and that means mild temperatures once again. I'll show you the highs for the next several days and talk about a little change in the timing of the rainmaker this week in just a couple minutes.
All right. Thank you, Mike.
Well, today marks 5 years since the January 6th riots at the U.S. Capitol. Why U.S. lawmakers are putting plaques on their office doors.
And a U.S. senator is now facing threats from Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. We'll have the details coming up. Now in Good Day Chicago, Chicago police are investigating after 2 people were found stabbed on a CTA platform. It happened just before 11 last night along West 69th Street. Police say a 24-year-old man and 37-year-old woman were involved in an altercation with another person. They were hospitalized in fair condition. No arrests have been made.
Firefighters rescued a person from a fire at a home along South State Street in the West Roseland neighborhood. A male victim was found while firefighters were putting out the fire. He was taken to the University of Chicago Hospital in serious condition.
Chicago police are asking for your help finding a missing woman. 53-year-old Linda Brown is a special education teacher at Robert Healy Elementary. She was last seen Saturday in the 4500 block of South Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. Police say she may be in need of medical attention.
Well, today marks 5 years since the January 6th riots at the U.S. Capitol. Back in 2021, hundreds of President Trump's supporters stormed the Capitol in an effort to stop the certification of the election. This year, nearly 100 lawmakers are mounting plaques on their office doors in Congress to honor the police who defended democracy on that day. The plaques are replicas of the official plaque approved by lawmakers in March of 2022, which is yet to go on display despite being required by law.
Those officers need to be honored. They should have a very important place in American history and certainly in the history of this institution.
Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson has not formally unveiled the official plaque as the Trump administration seeks to dismiss a police officer's lawsuit asking that it be displayed as intended.
A man remains behind bars this morning, accused of trying to break into the home of Vice President J.D. Vance. Cincinnati police arrested 26-year-old William DeFore yesterday morning. The vice president and his family were not inside the home during the break-in, but several windows were broken at the home. Charges are still pending a review by the U.S. Attorney's Office, but investigators are working to determine whether Vance and his family were being targeted.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz will not be seeking re-election. The former vice presidential candidate dropped his bid for a third term. Last week, the governor made national headlines for a fraud investigation into child care programs. Walz says he can no longer devote the time or energy needed to win another term.
Every minute that I spend defending my own political interest would be a minute I can't spend defending the people of Minnesota against the criminals who prey on our generosity and the cynics who want to prey on our differences. So I've decided to step out of this race, and I'll let others worry about the election while I focus on the work that's in front of me for the next year.
Minnesota Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar is considering running. On the Republican side, about a dozen candidates are already in the race, including the founder of MyPillow, Mike Lindell, who is a friend of President Trump.
Arizona Democratic Senator Mark Kelly is fighting back after being censured by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. The censure stems from his involvement in a video where he and other lawmakers told military members to resist unlawful orders. Kelly called the censure outrageous and un-American and says Trump and Hegseth do not get to decide what Americans can say about the government.
All right, time is now 4:46 this morning. Checking back in with Mike Kaplan. Mike said he had a little bit of rain coming in.
Yeah, I had drizzle.
Up in your neck of the woods?
Yes.
I felt that kind of moisture in the air, I will say. This
Okay. Yeah, I stopped for gas, and I had, as I'm standing out there, ooh, there's some sprinkling on me.
Yeah.
It was on the windshield, too. Nothing too heavy. And now, looking at the Satin radar, you guys, you can see that most, at least the radar detectable precipitation. Here's where I was, right about there. And look at that little blip of green, whoop, and then it's out of here. But that doesn't mean we still can't see a little bit of drizzle today. Most of the heavier, quote-unquote, precipitation is missing us to the north. But we have quite a bit of cloud cover, and that may remain in place all day long. Could be some light fog. I'm not expecting any dense fog today. 44 for the high, so about what we had yesterday, and it won't be very windy. West winds at 5 to 15 with a small chance that somebody picks up a brief shower this afternoon. Most of us, nothing. Down to freezing tonight. Might be a little patch of fog here or there under a mostly cloudy sky. And then tomorrow, we clear out. 46 degrees for the high. I think there's going to be a temperature spread tomorrow. Maybe low 40s, Lake and McHenry County. I think it could be 50-ish in the I-80 corridor. Then it's 50s area-wide on Thursday. Here's the new wrinkle regarding this system. Looks like it's going to come in earlier. So instead of nighttime into most of Friday, this is going to be afternoon Thursday, ending Friday morning. And Friday's going to be a little bit cooler as a result. 38 degrees on Saturday with a little rain and possibly some wet snow mixing in. But I think we'll be dry for the Bears game with temperatures dropping into the upper 20s by the end of that game. Sunday's high freezing, but back into the low 40s on Monday. Back to you.
Thank you, Mike.
The Department of Health and Human Services updates the nation's childhood vaccine schedule.
And the first of its kind weight loss pill has arrived to pharmacies in the U.S.
Start the new year off right.
Welcome back. Some new changes to childhood vaccine recommendations are now here.
Trump administration health officials say this will put the U.S. more in line with other nations around the world. But some critics are warning this overhaul could have negative impacts. Fox's Ted Linder has the latest.
The Department of Health and Human Services revealing immediate updates to the nation's childhood vaccine schedule on Monday. The CDC now recommends every child get vaccinated against 11 diseases, including chickenpox, measles, polio, tetanus, and whooping cough. The HPV vaccine is also recommended, but suggested doses have been lowered to just one shot.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
What's now different is that certain shots will face more restrictions, with vaccines against the flu, hepatitis A and B, meningitis, and more, only recommended for kids considered high risk or after having a consultation with a doctor.
What that means is that we will no longer have routine recommendation for all of the things that we were recommending our children be vaccinated against.
HHS officials say President Trump had tasked the agency to review the vaccine recommendations of other nations.
They were going to adopt a immunization schedule similar to that that's used by Denmark for childhood immunization in the United States.
In a post to Truth Social, President Trump wrote in part, quote, "Parents can still choose to give their children all of the vaccinations if they wish, and they will still be covered by insurance." The president adding, quote, "This schedule is rooted in the gold standard of science." Organizations like the American Medical Association and the American Academy of Pediatrics say there's no new evidence to justify the changes.
We are now seeing a divergence between what the CDC is recommending and what's being recommended by these healthcare organizations.
Ted Lindner, Fox News.
A pill version of the popular weight loss drug Wegovy is now available. Novo Nordisk's one-day pill costs $150 to $300 a month, depending on the dosage. It is available at 70,000 pharmacies, including your local Costco. The pill was approved by the FDA for weight loss last month.
This makes it so much more accessible, both psychologically, right? Taking a pill is just easier. And also from a logistics and operations perspective, it's, there's no injection training. You don't have to, keep it in the fridge, things like that.
Until now, these drugs were only available by injection and cost about $1,000 a month without insurance.
The end has arrived for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Agency leaders have voted to officially dissolve the organization. Since 1967, CBP has worked to drive federal funding for hundreds of public television and radio stations across the country, as well as NPR and PBS. Last summer, the Republican-controlled Congress voted to defund the organization.
Well, one teacher in Tennessee earns top marks and a new record. Glenda Aiken is being recognized for teaching the longest at the same school. According to Guinness, she taught at Westmoreland High School for 61 years and 43 days. Can't get about 42 days, right? She started in 1963 as a social studies teacher and library teacher. And to honor the achievement, the school library is being named after her. Maybe they should name the entire school after her.
No kidding,
That much dedication, right?
It was raining teddy bears in Pennsylvania. Look at that. Thousands of stuffed animals flooded the ice at the Giant Center in Hershey for the Hershey Bears 2026 Teddy Bear Toss. The Bears hockey team hosted the annual event during their game on Sunday. Fans tossed as many stuffed animals as they could onto the rink. The toys are donated to more than 60 charities that will help provide comfort and care to children in the community. We could do the same thing, arguably, at Soldier Field on Saturday, couldn't we?
That's true, right?
It might cause a little chaos, but
if we're doing that after a Bears win, I think everybody will be happy about that.
I think so too. Did you guys see the wiener dog race? Remember the Dachshunds came last week?
Right. I didn't see the race though.
Oh, it was chaotic. I saw a little clip on TikTok, guys. None of the dogs went pretty much down the chute.
Kind of going all the way.
Yeah, they ran all over the field. It's pretty funny.
They had other plans than just going straight to the finish line.
I get it, it's their opportunity to shine.
All right, we have a lot of cloud cover out there. Some of us have seen a little bit of drizzle this morning. Nobody's getting much rainfall here today, but don't be surprised if it gets a little bit damp, if you have to turn your wipers on intermittently. At O'Hare right now, it is cloudy and 38. Southeast wind barely 3 miles an hour. It's still possible we develop a little bit of fog in a few spots this morning. I just don't think we're going to be dealing with dense fog where you get that visibility less than a mile. We have 39 at Midway, Joliet, and Morris, 36 at Woodstock. Everybody's above freezing. 36 at Valparaiso, 41 at Merrillville, and Gary, one of the warm spots there. 43, already close to my forecast high temperature for the day. You can see where most of the radar detectable precipitation is. As we said yesterday, Wisconsin, Michigan, and around Chicagoland, it is going to be light and really spotty in nature throughout the day today. Our computer models showing a few little sprinkles here or there from time to time. What it features mostly is cloud cover. So yesterday, quite a bit of sunshine. That enabled temperatures to get up to my forecast number. This evening, cloud cover remains in place, and tomorrow morning we will likely rise to a lot of cloud cover, but watch what happens here by lunchtime. Clouds are out of here. It's possible the temperatures may overachieve tomorrow. I'm going to go for kind of low 40s north to 50s south. We'll see. I backed off a little bit from my 50-degree high officially for tomorrow, but that may still happen. Thursday will start out dry, but during the afternoon hours, that's when rain will start to move in. Today, 44, a little bit of drizzle and fog, mainly early, and I would favor areas north of the city for that. It is 3.5 minutes before 5 a.m. More of Good Day after this.
When you have everything.
The Prime Minister of Denmark responded to threats from President Trump to take over Greenland. This is following the ousting of Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela. He says an American takeover of Greenland would result in the end of the NATO military alliance. President Trump has renewed calls for the mineral-rich Arctic island to come under U.S. control. Several European leaders are standing by Denmark and condemning the president's remarks.
The White House is tightening entry rules. Some visa applicants will now be required to post bond of up to $15,000 before entering the U.S. 7 more countries were added to the list effective January 1st, bringing the total to 13. The State Department says the move is to prevent visa overstays.
The EPA plans to propose a drinking water limit for perchlorate, a chemical used in rocket fuel which can harm thyroid function and child development.